Blue Dot Fever is the theory that when artists and their teams see so many unsold seats on ticket sites marked by blue dots, they decide to cancel those shows instead of lowering prices.
Have you heard of the phenomenon of Blue Dot Fever?
So I haven't.
Okay.
This is brand new to me.
So this isn't the new disease that's going around the world.
Is this the one that was on the boat, right?
Yeah.
The blue dot fever. That's what they're all coming down with.
They made the vaccine illegal, so now we all have to get it.
We got to get blue dot. I feel like I already have it. I'm immune.
I think I'm coming down with the blue dots.
I got the itches. You can't see them on me. I'm too dark, but I do it. I have the blue dots.
Mm-hmm. What it really refers to, of course, is when you buy tickets from Ticketmaster, who is, of course, the only game in town. Check out our recent episode about the Ticketmaster
That's
monopoly.
right. And their lawsuit.
So when you are buying tickets, of course, on a Ticketmaster website, which is basically anybody you buy tickets from ever, the open seats are always blue dots.
That's right.
And so it refers to this. Well, we're going to get into it. This may be a phenomenon. This may be a bit of an overhyped clickbait headline kind of thing.
Okay. I'm here for that.
But what it refers to is as an experience of an overwhelming number of blue dots, aka available seats for concerts.
You're telling me people are too poor to buy tickets for concerts?
I am, in fact. Here's what I'm telling you.
Ooh, little asterisk here. Okay, let's go.
Here's what I'm telling you. I am telling you that in recent weeks, this is according to Kieran Southern from The Times, big name artists, including Meghan Trainor, Zayn Malik, Post Malone, Pussycat Dolls have all canceled performances or entire tours.
I didn't realize the Pussycat Dolls were still performing.
It's their big comeback. They've been dormant.
Because they were underground for a minute, like asleep underground.
Yeah. And this was supposed to be like their big kind of 20-year
But
thing.
ticket sales aren't hitting.
So they actually just straight up, of all these artists, I think as far as we know, the Pussycat Dolls are the only big ones who are just straight up saying that the cancellations are because of low ticket sales. Wow. Everybody else is kind of saying, like, I think Zayn Malik was like, I got sick and personal reasons, and Post Malone was like, I just had his own reasons.
I'm Post Malone, so I'm just not doing it because I don't want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a little bit of analysis going on here that is probably the first level of analysis. Let's say that. I'm going to take you through some twists and turns on this. But the first level of analysis is very much that this is about the financial thing, as you mentioned.
Do you feel like, in general, that ticket buyers and concert goers just don't have the funds, and that's maybe what's driving this? Or do you feel like there's a second layer kind of, promoting this blue dot syndrome or blue dot fever?
Yeah, well, there definitely is something about just straight up the money.
Okay.
Because floor seats for Post Malone's tours were $682.
Oh, I don't think I could afford that.
The cheap seats were $70.
Okay, I could afford that.
But the question is that before the fees, the junk fees, or after?
That's absolutely before.
Yeah. And is that, then there's parking and all the rest. So Zayn Malik said that it was health reasons. The Pussycat Dolls, their tickets were between $50 and $120. And
Zayn Malik is from One Direction.
One Direction. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
So the average primary market ticket prices jumped 41.3% from between 2019 and 2024.
That's a lot.
So it started in 2019, the average primary market ticket price, and hold that into your head. Primary market is something that we're going to come back to.
Yeah.
$96.17, and now it's $135.92, according to Polestar. So I don't know if there's like a lot of people we're talking about that's 6 years. Like, who's making more money now than they were 6 years ago?
That's crazy. A 41.3% increase between 2019 and 2024 is a huge amount.
Yeah.
That's a huge amount. Like, this is maybe not the best time but if bread at the grocery store went up by 40%, you would be hurting.
Yeah.
Maybe like a lot of these concert goers.
They were talking about, the inflation during the last election season, where it was like, the inflation is, they're as high as 4%, and people were flipping out.
Yeah.
Here's one place
40%.
Yeah, crazy. So that's one element. So we can't ignore the fact that tickets are just getting more expensive. Everything else in life is getting more expensive for people.
Do you remember the first concert you went to?
Sure. Yeah.
Do you, not exactly, but do you have any idea how much that cost you?
So when I started going for myself, buying tickets for myself, those tickets were probably, for like the touring shows, those are probably $25-$30.
Yeah.
shows.
Yes.
First Avenue kind of.
I remember this too, because
Yeah.
I would go see like First Avenue. You could maybe go see them at the entry, and these are Minneapolis venues.
Yeah.
So you're not like, where are they talking about? But these are Midwest venues, but they, still big touring acts, and you could get in 25, 30 bucks. You're in, and like I do think it would keep me from going to a show that was like, $135 just to get through the door.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot.
There's been some shows that I was artists who came and coming into town that I was like, I really, really fuck with it. I really wanted to see. And I looked at the prices and just went, I can't do it.
I can't do it. I want to. I hope it's an amazing show, but I won't be there.
So one thing we can't overlook right now, of course, is the gas prices.
Yeah.
So not only is this just really impacting people's pocketbooks because people got to buy gas.
Yeah.
It's what's crazy is that like for most people, their commutes are a fixed thing. You have to go to work.
Yeah.
So you got a certain amount of miles you got to do every year.
Mhm.
But if the dollars per mile goes up and up, then your effective cost of living goes up, right?
Absolutely.
Your buying power goes.
If the cost of gas goes up, the cost of everything goes up. The cost of getting things there goes up. The cost of getting anything to you goes up.
Mhm.
So, and then on top of that, it's just a nice little cherry on top. You getting anywhere goes up too.
Oh, and by the way, when you mentioned the cost of things getting to you, that
Mhm.
includes the tour.
Oh, you mean, what, are they traveling on a bus or something?
Modern tours for big artists are significant logistical efforts that involve fleets of trucks driving from
Wow.
city to city, ferrying equipment from one venue to another. The rise of fuel costs since the war in Iran began will have changed the financial picture of artists and their teams.
That's something to think about. And I'm sure you've experienced this. I remember being in downtown St. Paul,
Mhm.
outside of the Excel Center. And in 2012, 2013, that's when I was there all the time. And you would see all the tour trucks and buses pull up. And it was just such a thing because, especially when you're in a smaller city, it feels kind of like, damn, look at it. They're pulling in. And then you get to like our age and you look at it, you're like, damn, that's a lot of logistics.
Yep.
That's a lot of money. That's like, you got truck drivers, you got people moving things in and out. You've got all of the logistics going into this. You've got like, it's not one tour bus. It's not one, because you got dancers, you got backup singers, you've got all these elements, and everyone's got to eat, everyone's got to stay somewhere. There's all of these pieces, and if the cost of groceries is going up, that means the cost to
Feeding
feeding
them
is going up.
Yep.
If the cost of gas is going up, that means the truck's going to cost
Because
more.
of course those trucks they get 6-8 miles to the gallon.
And I'm sure they're not owned by the artist. I'm sure those are being rented out
Right.
through a fleet, through a service. So if it's more expensive for them, it's more
Mhm.
expensive for you. all
So those trucks, of course, one of the things that maybe people don't always appreciate is how many of these trucks go into these big tours.
that. Wow.
A Taylor Swift or a Sabrina Carpenter, these big
Mhm.
stadium tours. These are multiple trucks,
You think 3 to 5?
3 to 5, 6, 7 trucks. And then
Wow.
what's crazy about it is a lot of people don't know this is that a lot of times they have 2 identical setups.
Yes.
Because it takes many times a whole day
To set up.
just
and
to
then
set up and tear down.
So if I'm doing a show the next day, you need to get there now, and I'm using the stuff.
Yep.
So I need 2 sets, one for the show I'm doing tonight, and one that they're starting to set up in the morning for
Right.
the show tomorrow.
So they leapfrog.
Yeah.
So that's a part of touring. So you have to have 2 of these things now. So all of these are kind of really impacting the price of
ticket sales, ticket
ticket
costs.
Mhm. Now, let's talk about a little bit of a twist and turn on this.
Okay,
story.
take me down the rabbit hole.
Now, according to Music Business Worldwide, the Live Nation, we're gonna have some quotes from both the Live Nation CFO and from Ticketmaster. So a couple people, they're the same business. So
When you say Music Business Worldwide, is this another Maurice Dawson story?
this is in fact another Maurice Dawson story.
We got to shout out Maurice Dawson. Come on.
Yeah, shout out indeed. So Joe Berchtold, Live Nation's president and CFO, says that this is fake news.
No, this is not true, guys. No. Any issue that you're having with it's not us,
Yeah.
man. Like, tickets are great.
That's what they say.
In fact, we should charge more.
That's kind of what they're saying. They're basically, his quote is quote, a nice catchy phrase that is absolutely devoid of facts, end quote. He says that the narrative is attributed to ticket scalpers who are frustrated that artists are pricing their tours more efficiently. And I thought, We could break that down a little bit.
You know, this is another one. We previously on this podcast, we had another moment with Ticketmaster CEO where they were talking about how tickets, they just weren't reaching the same height as sports tickets. So there's there's a lot of room for things to get more expensive in this industry, and it's just disappointing to see these artists really penny pinching when they could be maximizing.
They were talking, of course, about how courtside Lakers tickets are hundreds, thousands of dollars.
Yeah, like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. You want a box, $20,000.
Right. But Beyonce tickets are only $800 or whatever.
Oh, this is so cheap. It's almost embarrassing for us at Ticketmaster.
So what do you think he means by efficient pricing?
Well, I would imagine trying to get more and more cheap seats out, more seats that fans can actually afford to purchase. So instead of allocating more and more like more VIP, more high ticket seats, maybe they're orienting it towards like, hey, how can we make this a more affordable, accessible show?
If that were the case, wouldn't more people be buying tickets?
I mean, yeah, that would be the hope, right?
I have a feeling what he means by efficient pricing is higher pricing.
Let me clarify. I thought he was saying like, damn, all these artists are participating in this efficient strategy. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's so unfortunate for you, Mr. CFO.
Because he mentioned very, very distinctly that it was scalpers.
Oh.
So scalpers, of course, are buying tickets low and then selling them high.
Of course.
And of course, they were caught doing this whole thing.
Yeah, by the fucking federal government.
So there's all kinds of pressure right now. And so now they're on the company.
We're transparent.
Yeah.
Honestly, as Ticketmaster and not Live Nation anymore, we practice full transparency, and we're all about you as an artist, serving you and especially your fans.
It just seems to me that when they say efficient pricing, what they're actually saying is higher pricing.
Yes.
Because they're trying to price out the scalpers.
Yeah.
And
that
so
makes sense.
They're saying...
Didn't they used to have their own secondary market site that they were a part of?
Yeah, and I think they still do, which is part of the problem.
Yeah.
They don't care if a scalper buys tickets or if...
No, because they're still going to get their percentage.
They're happy to sell it to a scalper. So
twice.
Yeah, because they'll get a cut of the...
Both times.
So this is an interesting kind of thing where they're kind of saying like, oh, they're trying to act like they're on our side here.
Live Nation says, no, ticket sales aren't down. In fact, you should charge more.
Yeah. So they're saying, this is another quote. This is amazing. I think the coverage is heavily driven by scalpers who are frustrated by the fact that artists are much more effectively pricing tours. They want to try to scare them that if they continue to price their tours efficiently, oh, you're not going to sell tickets. It's going to be embarrassing. So they're just blaming scalpers for this problem.
They're like these scalpers are just not able to make as much as they would have previously. And it's really disappointing.
Yeah. So they're mad about it. So now really Live Nation is just the victim here.
This is really interesting, and maybe this is a crazy rabbit hole, but Apple as a company has made so much money since 2020 in their services business. Mm-hmm. So not just like the products that they're selling, but the auxiliary things that happen after you purchase their product.
The
like
iCloud,
yes,
Drive,
exactly.
The storage and App Store.
All of the app subscriptions that you have through Apple, if you're paying for their Creative Suite or whatever else you're paying for. All of those things, Apple TV, any of those things. I wonder if Ticketmaster and Live Nation are treating their secondary market sales like scalpers, like another revenue stream. And it's kind of getting squeezed out a little bit. So they want to assure people that they're still the place.
That's an interesting thought. I could definitely see that being part of the issue for sure.
I don't know. It's giving me that vibe, you know?
This is interesting to me. So now another Michael Rapino, who has been a repeat offender on this show now, he's the Live Nation president and CEO. He made the case on a 2026 Q1 earnings call. His quote is, we tend to have a 1% to 2% cancellation rate historically, both at Ticketmaster and across the industry and at Live Nation. We're tracking slightly below the industry, so we see no challenges at all in that. We have about 15,000 shows on sale. 100 will be canceled. That would be typical. So they're deflecting. They're saying this really isn't the problem that y'all say it is. This is just overblown headline hype.
You said tickets were too expensive, and I said no one's canceling their tickets.
Yeah.
People who already paid are holding on to those tickets. What are you saying?
But I wish somebody would ask the follow-up question, what do you say then about the Pussycat Dolls and the Zayn Malik and the the other one, the Post Malone,
You know,
who they call a rapper, but he's any country now anyway.
that's a really interesting thing when you look at these three artists with the
And Meghan Trainor, so 4.
Trainor, Post Malone, Zayn Malik, and the Pussycat Dolls. I think obviously we can address each of these artists individually, but none of these are brand new artists. So I would wonder, I would also wonder, is this a trend of these artists? Like, I want to see this compared against, I know we always talk about Taylor Swift here, but I want to see this compared against Taylor Swift's ticket sales. I want to know who else is being affected by Blue Dot Fever and what does it look like? Like, is this something that is going to continue as a trend into 2027? Or is this kind of just like a blip that's going on right now? Is something driven by the struggling economy? Or is this maybe like a more global trend that we're going to keep seeing?
There's one other piece to this that I think is worth noting.
This
is why this is such a rabbit hole. This is so interesting. There's so many pieces to this. So this is from the senior writer at Polestar. In 2021 and 2022, there was such a pent-up demand that it was really easy to tour and everybody was making a lot of money.
Yes.
Post-pandemic.
The post-pandemic boom.
They continue, I don't know, I shouldn't assume a gender. Now there's a little bit of coming back to earth, and that's running into inflation and rising fuel costs that we're seeing across the broader economy. Affordability is going to start affecting concerts. So there is something about a kind of a coming down back to earth.
Yeah.
Because of the post. And I remember the post-COVID touring bonanza. It was amazing.
Yeah. Of course, everyone wanted to get out, wanted to go see the artists you thought you might never be able to see again.
And there was something, I remember experiencing it at the time, even from like the artists at art, even at my level, but the artists at like the label, where the big tours, and this is maybe still happening, but the stadium tours they were being a little cautious. And so they were booking like theaters, which was then causing the theaters to book clubs, which is the club acts, not the theaters, the theater size acts
to book
rather
in the
than
clubs.
One night at a theater, they'll book two
nights,
3 nights at a club. So then that squeezes out all the availability at a club. So that'll make the club size acts now book 2-3 nights out at like a smaller club.
Exactly.
Which was just having this crushing downward effect. It was actually really hard to get shows as a small artist at the time.
That's something that I feel like you can really, really see. And you can see across the entire US, like even in smaller cities and in like main tier large cities like LA and New York, where pre-pandemic, like we're talking between 2010 and 2020, if you were a small artist, like maybe you could pull 20 to 50 people maximum. There were a number of places for you in any city you could go. There would be a room for you. And I feel like part of this is obviously the economics of the pandemic. A lot of those venues that were around closed down and didn't come back. But there's also this effect that you're talking about of all of these artists who were previously like, oh, what's up? I'm at SoFi. I'm at SoFi for one day in Los Angeles and I'm out. Instead, they came in, they rented out like the Palace Theater or another venue like the Palladium and were there for 3 nights. And someone who was a little bit smaller, maybe it was Zayn Malik who was going to be there, or another artist who previously would have been in that like, oh, you know, I can sell like, maybe I can't do 20,000 people, but I can do 5,000 for 3 nights.
Right.
So that person then has to go play an even smaller room, and that just pushes out us independent artists.
So in many ways, it's possible that we're seeing sort of a bit of a correction to that. That's what this Polestar analyst is suggesting. There's so many moving pieces to this. This is just a really fascinating thing. So I think the cover story here is about the rising price of everything. We can't ignore that. It's probably true that this is a little bit blown up because of the way that the media reports on stuff. I mean, Ticketmaster and Live Nation are kind of easy targets right now.
You know, I think if you were going to buy a VIP ticket, you probably still bought a ticket.
Right.
You maybe didn't buy as expensive a ticket right now because things are tough. Things are tough in the music industry. Things are tough across the
probably
entire
whatever
economy.
Industry you work in.
Exactly. So I think there's that, but I think it's kind of like everyone's saying here, it's all of these elements, right? Like it's all of these shifts together that are creating this Blue Dot Fever.
So what do you think? Are you experiencing Blue Dot Fever either in your own career, or are you avoiding going to shows that you would normally go to? Are you cutting back this year on your show attending plans?
Yes.
Are you a part of the Blue Dot Fever problem because you're not buying tickets? Are you buying more tickets? Where are you at with all that? We always want to hear where your experiences are.
Yes.
Thank you for watching the Wholesome Music Podcast, the DIY podcast for DIY musicians. My name is Augustus Watkins.
My name is Cam LJ.
We are doing this content at least twice a week, so please join us on the main feed. Like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time.
Yes.